All right.
Mate, you overdo eating.
Okay, everybody. We are live in the studio, everyone. From Medal, streaming on Among Us. I am one of your free hosts tonight, ladies.
Oh fuck! I've just
and more
got my teeth
ladies.
in a glass.
And a couple more gentlemen. I'm
Most
Chief
of the ladies.
Bromden today. Shout out. And I'm joined by Minecraft Villager, otherwise known as LP.
I want to A up.
A up, gay up.
Oi.
And
Yeah, that's
the
me.
indifferent.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. I know that guy.
That just was a bit racially
I-
insensitive, wasn't it?
How? Ow!
You
How?
Is it?
You did an Indian.
No, I'm on
no.
about this guy. No.
This fella onto- There.
Jamie, you better put that.
I'll get Jamie to pull that up. Trust me, he's
Thank
not
you.
being racist, although he gets racist behind
Jamie.
closed doors. All right, I can't deny that. Okay.
Hello, my friends.
M-word,
This is true.
the amount of M-word bombs this man pulls is
N-word bombs. Oh, to grow up.
someone would have thought he was Hamas. The amount of bombs he's dropping.
There. Now drop off.
Yeah, that was funny, LP.
Yeah,
Great. It seems like we're in a positive vibe today.
killed the move.
Anyway,
Oh mate, you fucking killed. I don't know. Shut up.
Anyway, first order of business. LP, what is the first order of business?
I think we should do a tradition now.
oh, the tradition.
10 movies Twitter time.
Time. Woo! Tell me Twitter time. We need to get a
Woo-hoo.
jingle. Can Jamie make a jingle for that?
Yeah.
Jamie's got a lot of time.
He's not exactly got a music qualification, but
I mean, just because Ollie's just gone 10, he's
alright.
Twitter
I want to
time.
bring this up. This is his most
Yeah.
recent tweet, and I find it very amusing. Alright, this. At this point, tax evasion might not sound so bad after all. And I just thought, why would Temmie tweet this about tax evasion?
Guess it's because of his thoughts on the current situation in the Middle East.
What, tax evasion?
Yeah,
Would you care to elaborate?
because
Yeah, could you?
we thinks that we send a lot of money to a country in the Middle East that he doesn't agree with.
So,
he's saying-
oh god, yeah, that, yeah, I wasn't too
Can
sharp
I-
yet because he doesn't want to pay
Oh.
the money to. I get it,
Yeah,
I get it.
help
That,
us, right?
that was me.
Can I talk about a tweet?
Come on.
No,
I know this is supposed to be satire, but I just think it's just unfunny. You see, I get no bitches when this is my follow account. Checkmate Libber.
I thought that was really funny, that one.
And it's just all a bunch of bot girls, like porn accounts. Like, brother.
I thought
You're following
I thought it
fake.
was really funny because I had the same problem. I think I retweeted that one actually.
Yeah, but it does have a retweet.
Yeah, exactly. that would
And I
be me.
need to restart. And I need to restart my computer because my screen has just died.
What, is
I'll
that a
be back
real
in
tweet?
I didn't know we tweeted that.
I'll be back. I'll be back in a second.
I generally thought that was a tweet. I generally did.
My tweet is reading the BBC in Big 2024.
Exactly. Has BBC fell off or something? The Sunny V2 need to make a video on it.
How the BBC go? No. Yeah. I'm trying to find the one which was like wrong, but I can't find it. You know, the one where it just didn't make sense.
Oh, just the one where it's just words. The little word
Yeah.
salad.
It's the word salad, man. I want to laugh at the words.
I want to poke fun at a poor sentence. Hold on, I'm looking at my own Twitter for fuck's sake. Hold on. Let's check. Hold on.
Instagram reels be funny until guys repeat the joke over.
And then you replied with Roger. the little droids from Star Wars prequels, and I thought, and that actually took me down a bit of a pipeline. I watched the Star Wars movies, and I thought they were pretty good movies.
Yeah.
Took me down a
they're quite
pipeline,
good movies.
and I'm even
Good.
considering getting the game Lego one for like £2.
Oh really?
from
Oh
CD
really?
keys.
You can get that on your computer.
Yeah, on CD
You can
keys.
play with them.
Probably not. I don't know.
Oh,
I hope.
if you could, I am getting that.
In it,
I
because
will.
it's only 2-3 squid or something like that.
The eons of fun
Innit?
that
What,
I have had
what
with
a
that game.
fucking game, man! Like I
That
can
was-
replay that all the time.
Mm.
Like a genuine S tier game.
100%. Maybe I'm just blinded by nostalgia, but generally, greatest game.
I
That is
played it
awesome.
like 3-4 years because it used to be on iPad.
Did it?
Yeah.
You ever played it on Wii?
Yeah, I played it on Wii at a friend's house, but ugh, what a game!
Great game. I had all the characters, all of them,
Yeah.
all in their little set. And then you made your own. Oh,
What a game!
great game, great game.
Unfair. LP, what was your tweet?
LPR, give me a second. Or, I have to get it all Twitter back up now.
This fool. I'll try and find one in the meantime.
I've got mine. I've already said it. Don't know if it's been spliced out or not though.
Oh, the over.
Yeah. That's mine.
I like George Bush did 9/11.
Who cares? Who cares? Why?
Saying that in the big
He's-
2024 is a bit of a
Yeah, in the
travesty
big-
as well.
Jeez. God, he's just come to that conclusion.
I know, right? I think
Right.
I thought of that when I was about 15, and I think I stopped believing it when I was 15 as well.
Yeah, because it's preposterous.
It's just a
But
bit,
you know,
yeah.
he's not. I'm even not today.
Right, let me find another tweet.
Oh, another one. You hadn't even said one to begin with.
Well, I did say you say I get no bitches.
Oh, that one.
People like to me. First banger tweet since summer 2022. We're so back. If you donate money to people like Tommy Robinson, then you're a fucking R word. Can't even
Retard.
describe
What's the R word?
What's wrong with saying the R word?
it. It's like a slur, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure the R word people are going to get very offended that the zero who will watch this video. Unless you
RG's
watch
also-
it. Yeah, RG. RG's is apparently bad, isn't it?
Fucking arches.
Training hard so you ratio people with your fit pic. I don't think Tammy's ever ratioed someone with a photo of his fit pics, but you know, can't say I really look at his profile too much. But just looking at his posts, I can't say that I've seen a fit pic of him. other than one of KSI, which is clearly not him.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I've got a tweet.
Go ahead.
I don't care how much money you offer me. I am not
That's-
kidding.
That's a classic, man. Because it's just
That's a hashtag recap classic.
because that's just there's just so many questions to raise from that one. It's who's paying him to go to the wall to begin with,
Yeah.
and he probably
He-
would give in as well.
Yeah, no,
Definitely.
I reckon if you gave him like 200 quid, he'd
He
kiss it.
kissed the wall.
I offered him £5 great British pounds to kiss it.
And you'd probably be like, "Ooh."
£5. £5 is
What?
£5.
And he doesn't even have to pay for the flights because they'd be paid for by you, you know.
I can pay for him. He can pay for him himself.
Well, then he's not going to kiss the wall, is he? 5 quid ain't going to. Unless he flies like fucking Ryanair into Gaza, he ain't really going to be getting a cheap
Telling
flight.
me that one, the wall's not in Gaza. So the second, I don't think right now do flights there. Anymore. forever.
Anymore.
So
I think if I ever make an airline, I'm only going to fly to war zones.
Sure, that'll be very profitable.
No, I reckon it will.
I know about 3 people that want to go into a war zone.
Exactly.
YouTubers.
Lord Miles.
Lord Miles. Arab.
Well, that fella got kidnapped in
fella.
Haiti.
Yeah, gee. Rest in peace, Haiti.
Oh,
And journalists.
Exactly, it's journalism airline.
a journalism airline. That's a catchy old name. You might get 2 passengers with that one.
Will they be the pilots?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was sharp thinking, I wasn't even thinking. That was it. You thought why better than me. Yeah.
Good enough.
Sometimes I do surprise myself with my wit.
Okay.
Do you now?
Anyway, moving on.
Moving
if we're
on.
done.
I
Tammy's Twitter
think we can afford to move on.
Yeah.
I am a hippie boy.
Now,
I mean,
HippieBoi, what is this? What's the
Story.
story that you're refusing to tell us unless it's for the podcast? And it better be good, because I will not be happy if we've waited 2 months.
It's not a
to
bad
hear-
story by the meat. Well, it's all right. Look, here's what I'll say before I go into it. I'll say
Okay.
the story. Right, I wouldn't tell it if I well, like, it wouldn't be a podcast story if I didn't really know, like, afterwards, right? It's more like who I was in the presence of, right? It's not. Well, it's interesting anyway, right? Okay,
okay.
but it's more like who I was speaking to rather than what they were doing. Although they were,
You speak to Saddam Hussein.
yeah, Uday's still
Yeah.
around. Uday, actually,
Yes, yeah, he is still alive, yeah. Definitely.
He's just hiding in the tunnels.
the little cave where Saddam was found. Okay, I'll start with the story. I'll start fine. Forced out of me. Is this kid watching a TikTok during the story? He's been begging me to.
I was on
Oh.
Facebook during my notifications.
That
Oh, it's so
God.
TikTok brain.
he's. I don't even know how to begin
Right.
after that.
Come on.
Okay, so the story takes place London.
Yeah.
London. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're in an area of London. LP,
Yep.
LP won't know. Peds will know.
Nigga, shut the hell up and eat a cinnamon roll.
Oh, come on. I'm actually on the edge of my seat. I really want to know about this story. Please.
Yeah.
This
I will
kid,
touch the
man.
button.
Shut up.
God.
Shut up. Alright,
Yeah.
our story takes place in London. Peds will know the area, but LP will not. So I'll just explain the area for the sakes of it anyway. So we're in an area of London. Stamford Hill. The largest Hasidic population in Europe. LP trivia, what does it mean to be Hasidic?
To be Hasidic means. Hasidic means.
He doesn't have a qualification.
Yeah. I know a guy who may or may not.
Oh, Hasidic. No. Doesn't Hasidic mean like you're like Jewish and you follow the faith?
Okay, well,
Right.
yeah, but it's a
If you're
different.
a,
Look,
if you're a Hasidic
look,
Jew,
there's
you like
it's a
follow the
different-
Hasidic faith.
it's a big umbrella, right? It's just a movement, and it's pretty much the strictest form of the religion. All right, that doesn't matter. But anyway, so we're in this area.
Orthodox.
But it's a form of orthodoxy. But we're in the area, and we go to this place, and there's like an interesting shop, and I guess as I'm telling the story, I'll send pictures of. Well, I'll get Jamie to send pictures of the area in which we are in, right? And basically, sorry,
Why is he eating the ice cream like that?
he's laughing at a gif. All right, but I'll send images of where we are as I'm telling the story. But there's this store, and it's got like on the store, it's got a like you know how at the side of a store we'd have, you know, just a picture of some model on the side and blah blah blah. This is the product. I had a picture of some Hasidic guy, and with Yiddish on the side store. So we take a picture, right? And this guy on the side, he comes out of this van, right? And he goes, "Oh, he's taking a picture," and he wasn't dressed in the traditional dress. He was like dressed in a coat, and you know, just a normal coat, and I don't know what pants or anything, but he was obviously Orthodox, right? And he goes, "Oh, you're interested in and everything," and this is at the side of a store, and we go, yeah, you know, and he invites us into the store. And he shows us around. He goes and he's explaining everything. This was upcoming Passover, so he's explaining Passover rituals and everything. And I mean, he showed us a great, like an interesting. He was a really good speaker and everything. And we leave the store, and that's it. We say goodbye, and we walk past him again later. Right, it's not a very interesting story from that, right? But I got home, and I think it was the day after. You know, I was just looking at the like videos of the area we'd been to. And there's a documentary which I'd known about for ages, never really watched it, and it was a documentary on a guy which the title of the documentary is The Hasidic Drug Dealer, right? And I click on it, and lo and behold, it was him, right? And he has two documentaries about him. And lo and behold, that was the man I was speaking to. Me and my dad were speaking to. And that guy has stories. It's he was a drug trafficker in Brazil. And speaking to him, like, that's so weird. Speaking to him, like in the second documentary, he's on about getting shot at in you know, by Brazilian cartels, and speaking to him, you know, he'd never ever get that opinion on him ever, never ever. It's like, don't you think that's weird with anyone? Oh, just speaking to them, you don't know they've been shot at before. Or and another story that he said in one of the other documentaries, which I guess I'll link, is so this one of his colleagues was going in a car. Well, he was going to go in the car. And he was going to go in the car, but he was in a rush. But the colleague was very insistent on going in the car, and so he lets him, and boom, just like the Irish, it blows up the car, and you just don't get that vibe from. He was just some nice guy, showing you know, us around. And then to get the sealing of the deal, obviously there's no proof, but we went again, and we went in the same store, and we asked the shopkeeper, it's the same as last time. We asked him, "Oh, do you know Samuel Leibovitz?" Because that's the guy. Because we said, because we think we talked to him last time we were here, and she said, "Yeah, that's him. That's the guy from the documentary," because we mentioned it's the documentary. But that's probably the most interesting person I've interacted with. There's probably more to him, but you know, I think he's killed someone. So out of self-defense, but very nice guy, though. Genuinely nice guy.
It's crazy.
Wow, the prisoner.
That would be him.
Wow, crazy. That is very different to what I thought you were gonna say.
No,
very, very different.
It's more about the man than the myth. Well, not the myth, but the story. More about the man.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I can't say I've ever met someone that interesting.
Likewise.
I met an ex-SAS soldier, but that was about it.
Oh, he's been shot at. But you don't think, looking at some Hasidic guy, oh, this guy's been shot at in Brazil. Nope.
I mean the front cover of the video. You sort of do get that vibe. Look at him.
Yeah, the front cover, he's aged a bit since then. But he had the same voice, everything. He'd lost weight. But that's not, it's not really relevant.
That's what happens sometimes when you get older.
Yeah. That's true.
That is
Wow.
quite interesting.
That's very interesting. I'm very glad I get to take this off my mistake.
Conscience.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who I've met. That's interesting at all, to be honest with you.
I know you've got a boring life, Ollie. You don't leave.
Thank you.
It's awful.
That is awful, isn't it?
I mean, I met Martin. Does that count? He was a bit shy. He didn't want to come on.
Yeah. Jeez.
You met Martin?
Yeah.
Mark's been on here before. You don't know why he's not.
Yeah. He actually recorded the first one and sent it to me. Because my OBS wasn't set up properly.
Oh well.
But
You know,
there you go.
no, I don't even. I just sort of. I don't know.
But
It's
you
sort of
said,
big-
LP, you said you wanted to question our ethics.
Oh, I was just thinking before the podcast started that we should maybe introduce like an ethics section.
Do you have any ethical wisdom to bestow?
Well, you're normally the one with wisdom to dispose.
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
I sort of thought you could lead this segment. Give
Okay.
us some questions.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
but,
you know what's annoying me
the
now?
reason I was thinking.
Go. No.
The reason I was thinking this was because of your 5. If you were
Yeah.
going to turn 5 next week, I
Yeah.
was thinking about that, and I was thinking he's got some good questions. in
I
his
know,
mind.
right? I had a
You
good
just ticked
question to
away.
ask as well, but now I've completely forgot. I had a good dilemma to ask. Okay. Something ethical would be I do like the 5-year-old question. That is the one which gets you thinking. I think.
Are we talking to a 5-year-old hippie boy right now, or hippie boy?
He never changed, did he?
well, you wouldn't know if I'd changed or not because the timeline would keep going.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how timelines work. I thought.
Yeah, no, but wouldn't you know though? Because like
Would I know?
you'd be like wiser and more nuts.
Maybe. But how do you
Maybe
know
this
I've
is
just
an
wasted? Yeah, how do you not know I've just wasted all that time?
That's true.
Like maybe I was
Yeah, but-
transported to
But
5-year-old me.
but realistically, you were speaking about this in the future, and you knew you were speaking about this, so you knew what to do.
What?
So now we're on about time. We got about time.
Like how
are we
time
gonna-
works.
How time works.
I know that guy.
All right. I know. Wait. Do you have something to say? Actually, I was about.
No.
No. This question pushes people's buttons. Push Ped's buttons a bit. On not. It's not exactly a question, but it's an idea. It's a proposition, right? It's pushed Ped's buttons a bit, and it drives my dad bonkers, right? And it's the idea that if a tree falls where there's no one to witness it, where there's nothing to witness it, if a tree falls, there is no sound with nothing to perceive, right? LP, I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I think there is sound. No one heard it. Everything makes.
So
a
was there
sound,
sound?
realistically. There is
Yes.
sound.
If no one heard
Yeah.
it, was there sound?
No, but yes, there is sound because
I didn't hear it.
Physics would dictate that if two things clash together, it's going to make a sound.
I didn't hear it though. No one else heard it.
Yes, but there's sounds that you can't hear all the time, and yet they're still there.
Yeah, but
Dogs
someone's
can
heard
hear
it.
sounds, but you can't. Yes, but there's still a sound still there. You're just like being the devil's advocate here.
You're saying that you have to hear a sound for it to be a sound.
No.
And-
All right, no. personally, I don't believe in this. By the way, I'm just being a dick. But the idea is, I'm going to sound really pompous now because I'm going to say Latin, but it comes from this guy called George Berkeley. There's a university in America named after him, the Berkeley University. But he says this is the idea. It's esse est percipi, which means to be is to be perceived, right? And his idea is that nothing exists without a perceiver, and I'm not going to get into a theological debate or anything, but his interim was for that. Hold on, was that the ultimate perceiver is God. So that's why the tree actually makes the sound, right? But look, I'm not here to spread that or anything. LP, you said you had something to say.
I just think, that is true, If no one's around, nothing, you don't know anything exists, so, it might not exist. Because, when you're born, nothing exists to you. So if there was no creatures around, I don't think anything would exist, as we see it now. Sounds would still be made. So stuff still does, happen. But there is no, perception, so sound wouldn't be, an idea. Because nothing.
That's good. That's good. That is good observation there.
But so without something to hear it, sound would not exist because there's nothing to perceive it. But as a whole, sound does exist because our ears can hear it. It works out,
Yeah, well, it exists as an idea for us, but sounds which, like you said, that dogs can hear, right? Which we can't, other animals can hear certain sounds that we can't. That sound as an idea for us does not exist, right? Just as colour or certain colours for blind people who have been blind forever, they don't exist exactly, They, it's all about observation and, the impressions which we get. Oh, wait, it's a joke.
Is it?
Blind people observation.
Oh.
I thought that's what you were laughing at, but
I was gonna say, if a deaf person watched this tree fall, then it would still have made a sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. For instance, not concepts we have wouldn't exist.
Yeah, it's about. I think it's about the concept. I'm on the same page as LP. Yeah.
It obviously still would make a sound to us, but planets can't hear, they can't see. So for instance, even colour, if a tree falls, does that tree have colour? Because nothing's around to see it, but it still has colour in our eyes because we've been adapted to see colour and we've got the concepts of colour. Where, it would obviously still do those things, but that's to us. There's organisms out there. Bacteria can't hear. They don't have eardrums. So for them, the concept of sound is not a thing.
Yeah.
So I think it is more a concept,
Yeah, because there's for that said deaf person, they have no concept of well, if we're not here for that tree, that scientifically it is proven that the tree did make a sound, but we have no concept of that sound basically. Our frame of existence, I think, comes from our ability to observe concepts and things and identify them. So the tree does make sound no matter what, but if we're not there, we don't really know about this tree, right? We don't know what we know it made a sound scientifically because of fucking plates and whatnot, but vibrations, but we have no real concept. We can't exactly replicate that sound dot for dot, and I do like it. So it gets you ticking a bit. It gets you ticking more than it should.
That question has two types of people.
No,
it has the people that say.
I think we found a middle ground. I
Don't
think we
think
found
we
a
did.
third type of people.
No, I think there's the type of people which say the the tree did make a sound, and there's people that are trying to gaslight you to thinking.
I agree. You know, my dad. This really annoyed my dad because I was on about. And by the way, it was the same day. So and obviously the phone was listening in. There's no way it wasn't. And I was on about my dad, and I told him about this tree thing, and then the same day, about an hour later, this tree thing comes up on his TikTok. The same tree thing, and this very intelligent guy said, "Oh yeah, the tree doesn't make a sound," and it really annoyed him. It annoyed him for the rest of the day. And but yeah, I think people like being trolls, like me, because I think, you know, saying the tree doesn't make a sound, it's a really funny, ridiculous thing to say, and it's like. Because we know the tree makes a sound. I mean, come on, sound, man.
Yeah.
You know, if something clashes with something, it's going to make a sound. There's no way.
I have to agree with him there.
You know,
You know,
whether or not there's anything there. You know.
I think you know, it's just quite interesting, but you know, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I do just think our concepts and the way we observe does change the universe in a way.
Yeah, it changes our
Yeah.
like, as an individual, not as a collective, our ability. You know, we all have our different view from, you know, our experience. You know, and obviously some things are inherited. You know, like some, I don't know, like character traits and whatnot. You know, that's been proven, but you know, a lot of it comes down to I'd say most of it comes down to, you know, what we have seen firsthand and have been able to hear firsthand, and it comes down to the five senses. Basically, that's empiricism.
Can't say that your environment makes up you.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that.
Nurture.
Yeah, I'm big into nurture, I think, but nature is very important also. I think
it's a mix of the both nature and nurture.
Yeah.
I feel like we've evolved to have certain traits,
and we are born with inherited traits. You know.
Yeah, it's like there's studies that show that you can be born with parent trauma. Like, say your parents have had really bad trauma, you can be born with effects of that. Like, you obviously didn't experience the trauma, so you don't know, but you can be born with like higher risks to poor mental health. There's like studies that show that. So like, obviously, like nature, like, you know, some things can be passed down. I'm not saying these studies are 100% true, but I've watched, like, you know, videos about trauma and stuff, and you know, they say that there's studies that show that if your parents have seen some like really bad stuff or got abused by their parents, their mental state, you know, because they become more susceptible to mental like health problems, that you can actually be born more susceptible to mental health problems because of that, which I think is quite, because it changes your not, I guess, your DNA in a sense, you know, like if it's that bad trauma. I feel like, you know, nature is quite cool in that way.
And to add on to that, I think, now, you know what, it's quite useless, but I'll add it on anyway. It's like, so if your parents got traumatized after you were born, then you wouldn't be born with that trauma, obviously, right? You know, you know, because it comes from the imbalance and everything. I can't explain it. It's probably, I get what you mean, I'm not doing it justice, but
I get what you mean, yeah. Right. But I think, you know, nature and nurture do have a very important thing. Like, you know, you can't say it's one or the other. Because obviously, if you were born in an abusive household, you're not gonna. There are a chance that you're gonna turn out to be a good human. You know, you might find support groups around you and stuff, and good people to socialise with, because it does happen, you know. But you've got like lower chances of becoming like successful in life, I'd say, if you're born into a worse household, you know, with abusive parents. And so, you know, in that sense, nurture does take a big effect. But, you know, we've got like natural things for greed and, you know, surviving and taking what you can. And I feel like that's not exactly nurture, but more nature, you know.
Okay.
Because
I'll follow it up with the question: what should we trust more, our brain, our mind, or our senses?
But your brain lies to you all the time, so I'd probably go with my senses.
Yeah, okay.
I'd go with my conscience, you know,
Okay, so we have a rationalist
Because-
and an empiricist. Okay.
because
I'm a
like,
mixture of the both.
well, I'm a mix of all three. Like your brain lies to you, but
Yeah.
it does.
You know,
tell
our
you
brain,
when-
our brain constantly lies to us and tries
like,
to
you know-
justify things that we do.
But
and
you know,
everything.
I could say that's more conscience, but
Well, yeah,
you
well,
know,
our
brain
conscious, our
lies.
brain, right?
Yeah.
I'd say
Well,
that's
what's the difference between
interchangeable.
mind and conscience? What's the difference between brain and mind?
None. Does it?
No.
Does anyone
You said-
object?
I don't like the difference.
You
but-
said
I
you
thought they were
said
just
brain,
interchangeable
said-
terms.
Well, the
for-
brain's a physical thing. The mind's what you're thinking. I would say, but
Yeah,
I
I'd
know
say
more
brain.
about
I'd say
Well,
brain does,
our
like,
our consciousness, you know.
I'd say the brain does like deals with pain and stuff, and then your conscience.
All right. Well,
tells you
do we trust our mind or our senses then to phrase it better?
I'm a bit of the both, you know,
Yeah.
because if you're seeing something, and like your conscience might try and justify something bad, but at the end of the day, you know, your senses do shine through. Like, you know, your hands might start shaking. You know, you might lose hand-eye coordination, things like that.
Yeah.
That's still part of your conscience going, this isn't okay.
I think I lean towards the senses because, you know, because like Ped said, you know, our brain is constantly lying to us and saying things and
But I
ours.
feel like they're intertwined.
But
Like,
yeah,
you see stuff, and then your conscience dictates what your senses are gonna feel. Like obviously your conscience isn't gonna be like lie. Like your eyes aren't gonna lie to you. You see what you see. But I do feel like, you know, they can't do as much as your conscience. Like your conscience at the end of the day is the final decision maker. Like if I see something bad,
yeah, your consciousness is like the you know the be all end all of it. That's like the
Yeah.
end. And
So I'd say I have to trust my conscience more.
okay,
Because
oh,
although your
yeah.
eyes and your ears aren't gonna lie
So-
to you,
So you're saying,
It's-
hold on, I'll ask
that's
after.
the
I'll ask after.
like, you know, although your eyes aren't going to lie to you and your ears aren't going to lie to you, your conscience is the final decision maker of what actions you take.
Mm.
You know, like what you say, what you do. That thing, it's like the final straw.
So is your thought process right? Is it that your consciousness is closer to your mind, therefore that's why we should trust it more than than our senses? Is that your reasoning?
Because, like, although I do admit, like, you know, you can trust your senses because, like, your eyes never lie to you, really, unless it's like an optical illusion, of
Yeah.
course. But, you know, your eyes don't lie, your ears don't really lie. Nothing really lies to you sense-wise. But, you know, I feel like you should have more faith in your mind and conscience because, at the end of the day, that is the thing that dictates your decisions.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree
Every
on that.
hand
Yeah.
movement you
I
make,
guess.
every look of every movement of the eye you make, that's your mind making that decision. Like, you've got to have faith in your mind for your senses to work.
Yeah,
Because, like,
yeah, you've got to have some kind of congruence between your mind and your consciousness, you know, because they're like that's the decision making process. So I agree.
I disagree.
Oh.
I think most things are very reflex orientated.
Yeah,
I do admit, you know,
I
you
think
got
you need to
reflex.
add it up with you know, with our outer world experience, you know, like, you know, touch, something being hot and blah blah, that connects to the mind.
I
And,
get that, but
know.
you know, I feel like reflexes, for instance, like when you, like, if a ball gets chucked at you and you flinch to try and dodge it, that's not exactly your muscles doing that. That's your mind being like, oh, okay, you're about to get hit. You need to move. I don't think that's necessarily your senses.
No. So when reflexes happen, when you feel pain, for example, in your finger, it goes. Oh, there's this whole thing. You do it in science. You go through the spinal column, and then if that finds that it's overwhelming, then instead of going to the brain, which it normally does, it'll go back to your finger to a not a motor neuron, but to like what's it called? It's like a coordinator. So this is either the brain or it's the spinal column, right? and then that decides if it should send out what signal it should send back. So the mind, or the brain, isn't always the thing that sends the thing back. If it's like a massive electrical signal, it'll send it straight back. So you do something without thinking about it.
Yeah, Kant.
And I
think Kant kind of synthesizes that. He goes, let's say we're punched. Our reaction is our intuition, and then how we know that's our judgment. Placing the concepts onto the pain and the punch, basically. In I guess that's simpler terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, like after the recording cut, like in between that little segment, like I think they're both important. Like, I still think you should trust your conscience more, but I do feel like they're both important, because like if you're like paralyzed or you can't talk or something like that, like if you're paralyzed, you're just
a prisoner of your body. This is his words, not mine.
Yeah, like you're trapped in your own mind, then that means you have to trust your mind only, and I don't think that's necessarily always a good thing. Like you should be able to like look around and do things, like,
and process things for what they actually are, with your touch and texture, and
like the mind's good, but I do think you need to trust your senses as well. Like,
you need the tools of which are the senses to really expand the mind, and because Hume says, and I guess I touched on it briefly, like being born blind, the red doesn't exist to you at all, really. It's just a concept which you have no thing holding of. So you do need your empirical senses to build upon anything. So we do need to trust what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, and because that is how the mind is melded, right? That's how we get impressions, and that's how we form ideas. And that our outer world is vital for our mind.
Yeah.
This is kind of going back a bit.
It's like the server we're running on. Sorry, go on.
If we flip this back to so when someone's dead, right, when the brain dead, their eyes will still follow you for a bit. So I think most things are reflex, So if someone says look at you, right, you don't think I'm going to look at this person and then look at them. You just look at them.
Just do it. Yeah, because that's the intuition which we get, because we have labelled, because it's our language, and that's just the instant reaction and the intuition we have.
But I feel like that was moulded by the mind at the beginning, because when you're a baby, if someone says look at me.
Yeah, because we found out the meaning of that from our senses as well. So.
I don't necessarily think that's right though. If someone in a different language starts shouting at you, or even starts talking to you, you're still going to look at them.
But I mean, like as an infant, like when you're first born, when you first get your vision, when someone says look at you, like just like
the
like they're across the room and they look at you, you're probably not going to look straight towards them, because
I don't think so. I mean, I think
I feel like there'll be a delay period, like where you're still trying to work out, like.
No, I don't get the words that saying look at them.
I feel like your brain teaches your senses, and your senses teaches your brain. I feel like they sort of like develop.
Yeah. It's like a combined learning curve. But once it's fixed, it's like they're quite separate once it's all been developed and everything, right? I feel so. It's like they're both growing together, and then they branch out, I think, and then they become more independent. Obviously, they rely on each other. They both came from the same trunk, but it's they are more their own thing once the ideas are grained out and everything.
Yeah, because I was like, the way I see it is like, imagine if humans could never see in the first place. We had all these other things, you'd have to be a lot more trusting of your other senses and your mind. and they'd have to be intertwined because seeing is a vital part. You can't do anything without seeing. Imagine like humans wouldn't be as advanced as we were without sight. And I do think you had you'd have to trust your mind a lot more as well as your other senses. I feel like all the senses and your mind are like as vital as each other. Like I still think you should trust your mind more, because at the end of the day you're stuck with that. A lot of the time, like when you're shutting your eyes and going to sleep, it's your
Yeah,
mind.
you're stuck with your mind a lot more.
You don't,
Well,
you
it's a
don't-
lot more apparent, I think.
Yeah, you don't really care about your senses as much because you've got your eyes shut. It's
Yeah, because
silent
when you're going to
night.
sleep, you're stuck with your mind, and your mind is often the thing that's stopping you from going to sleep.
Yeah. So, in certain situations,
Yeah.
I do think
I'll bring
it's
my opinion
situational,
afterwards.
though. Because in certain situations, obviously trust your senses more. Like you said earlier, if you're getting punched, I don't know if we're recording for this bit, but if you're
Yeah.
getting punched, or if you touch a hot stove, you should trust your senses more because they're the first thing that's going to react, and then your mind will kick in and register the pain and tell you need to get this under some cold water now and stuff like that. Then the
Yeah,
mind will kick in
I-
and
I
do the
th-
actual cleanup.
I think
Yeah,
the
the
mind
main-
has the most authority. That's my thing.
Yeah, I think the mind has the most authority. I think it deals with the big stuff, if you touch something, you're gonna take your hand off, and then your mind's like, okay, this hurts. We need to do something about it. I think the mind's the thing that actually gets things sorted out, and tries to fix issues after a while. Like your reflexes and your senses, bang, straight to the point. But then your mind's goes more in depth and does some troubleshooting.
Yeah. Your mind does the complex things, and because that's which formed how we distinguish grass from wood.
Yeah.
So the mind kind of fills in the differences
Thanks.
between the outer world, and I mean, yeah, the mind is important when it comes to realizing what's what. I think, because that's how we know. Because if we didn't have the mind, it's like we don't have anything. I feel like almost.
Yeah.
It's like, are we seeing it really? Are we seeing
an
this?
example I would think of. An example I've just thought of. Say you're in a war zone, right? This is an extreme example, but say you see some atrocities, your eyes aren't gonna know. That's someone's dead body, for instance. So
Yeah.
you've just seen a bombing. Your eyes aren't gonna know that's the bomb.
It's like children
Whereas
when they watch when people watch a horror movie with their 2-year-old, they don't know what they're seeing. So
But your brain.
because the brain doesn't know that's really weird and creepy as fuck yet. So
The
it's
brain doesn't know yet.
yeah,
But the eyes know, but the brain doesn't, and then the brain processes.
yeah. I
Right,
completely
okay.
agree. I completely agree.
That's part of someone's body.
Yeah,
That's not a
and
good
whereas
thing.
with the "hey, look at me" thing, we've been conditioned through our through our senses to look straight away when they go, "hey, look at me," or it's just or when you hear your name, it's like it's because if we didn't know what that meant, it means nothing, and our mind needed to know that to know what it meant, and it's
Yeah. So they're both intertwined, but I think it really just depends on the situation more than anything. Like burning your hand, you're gonna trust your reflex.
your
senses a bit
senses.
more.
Yeah,
And then
it's
after the hand,
when it
then
comes to
after you burn
instinct,
your
yeah.
hand, and then after you burn the hand, your brain's gonna kick in and be like, right.
And when it
let's-
comes to rationalizing things, it's
Yeah.
the tool is our mind, but the tools of the mind is what we know from what we know, from what we see and hear and smell and taste.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do your maths homework without the mind. Your hand doesn't know what to write
but
down.
you couldn't do your maths homework without your mind, which is operating on the
hand.
on where your mind is operating on.
It has to look at the one plus the one.
The mind is being. I said it's like the server, the mind isn't the server, but the server which the mind is on is what our senses are. So a bit of the server is closed if we're deaf, right? And or if we have no taste or we're blind, it's being run on that.
Yeah. Like I guess you could say like the mind's like, if we're putting this into like computer terms, like the mind's like the CPU, and the sensory's like the RAM. Like without like the your senses are the RAM. Like without the RAM, you wouldn't be able to load anything on the CPU. Without the CPU, the RAM wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ollie, did you like that analogy?
The CPU can work independently because it has caches.
Oh yeah, but big things, Ollie. Like shut up, man.
Okay.
I'm on Lost Pens' page here, personally.
Right, yeah, but like I know it has caches, where it has like storage right there, but it takes in a lot at once. Your like senses, like, you hear, you see, you feel all at once. Cache isn't gonna hold all of that information, Ollie.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, Ollie.
I'm sorry, I wanted to do that. Okay.
How does memories work?
Ooh.
How do they get stored, man? That's not a question for any of you. None of you know.
Is that meant to challenge our ideas, or are we just saying that like as
No.
question? Okay.
I just generally, I have no idea.
How do
really.
memories work? Oh.
I don't really know.
Hold on.
I'm gonna consult the oracle about that.
I don't know. I'm looking at some of my notes. I may have wrote something about
that. The hippocampus retrieves information from the working memory and begins to change the brain's physical neural wiring. Oh, so your brain just rewires to remember, like in long-term memory, the brain just rewires, and then them rewirings trigger a memory.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of like trying to think of a way to put this.
It's like a bit flip. Oh my god. No. Okay. It's like okay.
It's like SSD.
Yeah.
Like how like ones and zeros they change depending on the storage and then then that gets converted into memory.
Yeah.
And stuff.
It's interesting. Okay, I'm glad we know about this.
Yeah. I think that's quite cool, The brain rewires itself just to remember stuff. I think computers are so cool because they are just like brains in a sense, but just like electronic brains. I think that's really cool.
They can't think. They just remember.
I know they can't think, but they're like brain dead in a sense. They can remember stuff, they just can't think.
Yeah. So
Next
business.
Next order. All right, that was. Would you? I think the little thing we were on about mind versus senses, that was like epistemology. So it wasn't really ethics. So what is ethics? What is a good ethical question other than the trolley problem? I don't want to get into the trolley problem because I think I just saved the 5 people. Me.
Would you save the 5 people? I agree.
You'd save the 5 people, but if you've watched
I'd flip the switch.
Video, if you've watched Feauturing's video, it's not that easy.
All right. Tell me. All right. I'll just do the trolley problem thing because I'll tell you the Kantian view on it. And
no. Actually, can I have like a personal question? I want.
Go on. Okay. If you have one.
The other day, I bought some food. Okay, I was like, I'm going to treat myself to some food that I've bought. Okay, so I buy some food, right? And I'm walking home to eat this food, right? That I was really happy with. I've treated myself. I didn't eat the day before to get this food, right? And this person comes up to me and asks, "Can I have any food?" Right? And I said, I just kept walking. If I'm being honest with you, I wanted to say no, but I just kept walking. And looking back, I feel really bad that I didn't. But I don't know if it was if I should have given them food or not.
I think that's just natural, when like, I'm in a bit of, psychological mood now. But, I feel like that's natural, right? Because it's an awkward situation because you don't want to be mean. So your brain just sort of blanks. And then you realise what you've done afterwards. It's
But-
like,
At the
it's
time,
like at the time, you
I'm
wanted to say
thinking,
no, but you just
I
couldn't
want
get
to eat
that.
I want to eat my food. I don't.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't really want to
It's
talk
because
to anyone.
cause at the time, right, when we're in a situation, we all want to. It's purely in the moment of anything. It's purely our interests at heart, right? It's
Yeah.
purely us. And then when we look back, we think, oh, I could have been like this. It's like when in the moment, like there'll be some like kid crying or something. I don't know. Just someone like being annoying. They're not exactly bothering you, and you think, oh. And then you look back at that like, I don't know, the same night, but I don't know, it could be 10 hours later. You think like, was it that annoying?
No.
And it's like, did it affect my life that much? And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's just we in the very moment, like we're just this is my opinion, like we just want purely what's best for us because we want, the universal good for Aristotle is happiness, and whatever's not making us happy in the moment
Yeah.
is
I didn't-
ultimately killing our mood in a way.
Mm.
So
I- First of all, I was hungry. I wasn't in a good mood already, and I wanted to eat.
yeah, exactly. So he was
I do
just
think,
annoying you
you
even
had-
further. Not
you
saying
had
that he's a
no,
bad guy,
like-
but
yeah,
Oh.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Like,
he was
he
just
was
going
probably
against your
hungry
will.
as well. But at the end of the day, you had no right in itself to have to give up your food. Like,
This
right.
is true. I thought this at the time. I was thinking, why,
Like, obviously, it's a kind thing to do, but it's not what you have to do. It's just like in the moment you wanted your food. You're hungry, and you didn't know what to say because you didn't want to be rude to him. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I didn't.
No,
I
no, yeah,
You didn't
no one
wanna-
really
you
wants to
didn't
be
want to
rude.
tell him.
don't
You
want
didn't want to be like, no, go away or
Yeah.
something. Like, no, you
get
can't.
a job. I don't know. I didn't want to be really mean.
Yeah, you didn't want to be mean, but you didn't want to give up something that's like you've been looking forward to. So you sort of just blanked.
At the time, I couldn't weigh up either being mean
And
and or the having no food. And I think because now I've eaten the food, I think the other option would have been better to give them
yeah,
food.
like
Feel bad.
I go to a Catholic school, so they talk about doing good deeds quite a bit. So I'd say I'm pretty versed in this sort of thing. And they always say like if you do something, it might not make you feel good in the moment, but like afterwards you could feel really good about yourself because you've done something that's made you proud. You've helped someone out. But
Mm.
it is a hard thing, like I think I'd also struggle in that situation because I wouldn't know what to do. Like whenever I see a homeless person on like the side of the road or something, like when I go to London because there's not too many homeless people around where I live, but like
Yeah.
when I go to like London or something, I do feel really bad for them. And like I know I've got money. Like if I go to London, I bring a bit of money just in case I want to, like 20 quid, just in case I want to buy like a souvenir or something nice. But I do think, do I really want to give them my change? Because that change could help me out just as much.
Yeah,
then you
because
do-
in the moment, and then when you got home and you realise, oh, I didn't spend that change, you think,
Yeah.
oh, I should have gave it. It's
Yeah,
like,
like
well,
when that change gets shoved in a drawer or something.
we're
and
thinking what's
you're
going to
not
come
gonna
next
touch it.
with the change.
Is it good to give homeless people money? I don't.
I think it depends really on the person.
I think it's a good act, right?
I think it's a good act, but I think it's better to give them like food.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Because,
think a lot of
like-
people say it because they think, oh, drugs and everything, and
Yeah, but
we
I
told
do
that
like
in the program.
there was like this homeless person that did like spoke. I remember him like speaking to someone. I watched the video, and he said like, you try to be homeless. Drugs are the only thing that numbs you and keeps you warm and stuff. Like it tricks your brain into thinking you're warm and you're numb and you. So like they get into it because it helps them survive on the streets, and then it becomes unhealthy, and that's what happens. That's why they stay on the streets. It's a temporary problem, but like it causes them to spiral. And like although I don't think drugs are a massive issue around where I live, so if I saw a homeless person, I probably would give them a bit of change, you know, because I don't live in a really, you know, the only real bad drugs in my area is maybe weed, and you can get ket off someone, but you know, ket's expensive. I can't see a homeless person getting enough money for some of that, but you know, but like, I do think it's better to give them like food and water, because then you know it's actually they're gonna have it, or if they don't have it, they might give it to another person who's also equally as in bad state. Like they might pay it forward.
Yeah.
But I do think, you know, it really just depends, like, because I do think like if I do have change, do I give it to them, and then I just end up walking past them, and then I feel bad, but then I'm like,
Quite hard to do an act, to be honest with you.
it is hard to do an act, because it's not even about feeling awkward. You just, I guess it is like it's more nervous than anything. Like you know you'll feel good afterwards, but it's more just
Yeah.
leading up to that act.
Yeah.
Nervous. I feel awkward going up to a homeless person. Like I know, like you know, they have cups and stuff for money, but I feel like it's more embarrassing for them. Like in my mind at that moment, I'll be like, it's quite embarrassing for them if I start giving them money and stuff. Like you know, I know it's obviously not.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is, I wouldn't want to be on that position on
Yeah.
the street where people have to give me money. I feel like that's quite.
Yeah, it's just our
know,
inclination. It's telling
Yeah.
us like.
Like I never ask for money.
Because we're
like,
because we're
unless I really have
self-serving
to.
and like
Like,
we may not know it,
Yeah.
but we want well, our subconscious wants all that is best for us, really, unless you got a messed up subconscious. But it's like obviously we want I I think we can all agree, like we want good for homeless people, right? Unless they're like,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
but like.
I mean,
But-
I have been quoted
but,
saying spit on the homeless.
Yeah,
on one of these podcasts,
actually, yeah.
Wait, yeah, I forgot about it.
Yeah, hold on. We're just gonna let
but-
that
It's a joke,
slip.
that was a joke.
Hold on, but anyway, but it's like,
We need
but
to-
our subconscious is like definitely the most ruthless part of us, and I think we
Yeah.
just ignore that because it's not as strong as, it's thankfully not as strong, because if it was strong, we'd be
Yeah.
boom, it would just be our conscious, and then we'd be even more self-serving because it's in the forefront. And
Would the world be a better place if we only had self-serving ideas?
no, because we'd all be about sabotage and everything. Because what happens in cancer research, right? A lot of these people who are obviously working towards like the ultimate good, right? Curing cancer, one of the ultimate goods. They're working towards that, but they're constantly, destroying each other's work, or well, not destroying it, but tampering with it, so it doesn't
Right.
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So they can
Yeah,
get,
they wanna
so they
be
can
the one
potentially
that's
get the glory, and it's
I
like
think
that is self-serving, and that
Self-harm.
and that is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this happen.
Yeah, no, my dad told me about it in a book, but I may have heard it. I may have heard about it before, but it doesn't matter. Heard it from my dad. He heard it in a book, and it's not that far-fetched to think of. I also saw it on TikTok, but I trust the book more than a TikTok. Okay,
I trust TikTok with my life. But
and I think that's self-serving, and I think that is not good.
no.
Like humans have naturally always been greedy. It's the way we survive.
Yeah.
Like you would take from other people just to get food, during the Bronze Age and stuff like that, and Stone Age and stuff, because you'd have to go out hunting. If you didn't get a hunt, you'd try and steal of someone else and try and be as greedy as possible, because you knew that was the way to survive, and that has been passed down, I think, through us. So I do think we are very self-serving. Sometimes if I'm I know I could help someone with the answers to a work problem at school, if they've got questions, I know I could help them, but it's more the fact is I don't want to help them because I want to be able to get in front ahead of them
Yeah.
stuff, which is very I know that's
Yeah.
self-serving, and it doesn't happen often, but if I'm just in a really I just want to get ahead and get
Yeah,
my work
like
done.
when you're stuck in a line and you just want to be out somewhere as soon as possible. That's all in your
Yeah.
mind. I'm not giving up this space for
Oh.
nothing.
Yeah.
This is in the case of the school or work, I would say it's different though, because that person's gonna have to learn.
Yeah, no, but I know that, but you know, like even if it's just like a simple thing that I've already done, I do like, and that they're near the answer, and they just need a bit more help. Like, I will just be like, sometimes I will just be like, no, or I'll just like change the conversation because I like, as much as I feel like I know it'd be good to help them, like you know, I just want to get ahead, get my work done, and have a nice, relaxing end of the lesson. You know, where I can just like relax for a little bit. And like, and I do think that's self-serving in itself, and I do like know that's self-serving. But it's even like borrowing a pen. Like sometimes I just don't want them to borrow a pen. Like even if I know they'll give it back, it's more just the fact that you know
It's
my
a
pen.
it's a minor inconvenience. It's like,
minor inconvenience for me.
so like yeah, literally everyone is a little reluctant to give their pen. Like
Yeah,
it's pure subconscious.
Because like a lot of the time, like you know, I won't tell my mum I need new equipment. I'll just go after school, go to my town, and go to buy a pack of pens. Like but I won't buy like a cheap pens. I'll buy like you know like the nice uni pens, which are quite costly.
I rate those.
And you know, I don't want to give them up because I've spent my own money. Like I won't even go to my mum. I brought new pens. It'll just be like you know, it'll come out my pocket, and I think that's fine. Because at the end of the day, I didn't tell her, and I don't expect to like her to have to get me pens every few weeks because I lose them, and you know uni balls run out really quick. But like, so I just think you know if it's like a pen that I've spent money on and it's a good pen, I'm not gonna give it up. Like if it's a cheap old biro, like you know I'll be like oh yeah just have it, you know just use it for now. Make sure you give it back. But sometimes it's just like such an inconvenience when you've got like something like you've got 2 pens left. If you don't get that back or if you lose it, you know that's gonna just annoy you because you've got to keep safe that one pen you've got. And it is like it's a minor inconvenience, and that is definitely like you know self-centered and yeah, but and you know your own goals. But I do think you know you've all been raised that way in a sense, you know. Even if like your parents teach you to share and stuff, like I do think inside we do have a bit, you know, self-serving. You know, just put yourself first.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but I do think it can like affect things, like that you don't want to.
Yeah.
It can put like relationships on strain as well. You know, like because like you know, just speaking from like you know, say like you're in a marriage, you want your job. You might want your job to come first because you know. At the end of the day, you know that will get you money, and then that might be able to provide a better life. But that is quite a self-serving, like you know, thing in a sense, because you're putting yourself and your money first before others, which is it's for a good cause, but it still could cause bad things, you know, and it does affect things.
Yeah. I think us in the moment is our most toxic form of any moment.
Yeah.
And us when you know we've had time to reflect is us at our most forgiving for most people, because some people think, well, I would have done worse if I went back there. Well, you know what? No.
I mean, it depends on the situation.
Actually, you know, it depends on what you're reflecting on. Actually, because sometimes
Yeah.
that was a miscalculation. Because sometimes when we're reflecting on, you go, oh, I wish I just told that guy to piss off or something like that.
Yeah.
So like it's when we reflect, it's either us at an even more toxic level or an even more, you know,
I think
or
it really
a more
depends.
forgiving level. I don't think
really
we
think it
maintain the
depends
same
on what you're
toxicity.
reflecting on. Like, because if there's a kid you really dislike, like, or someone you really dislike, and they're just being annoying, and then like you're reflecting on it, you would probably go, oh, I wish I just like, you know, pushed him or something, you know, something menial that's not going to cause damage but get a point across. It was just something like that. Would just have a go at him. Like sometimes I'll just think about situations I've been in, and I'm just like, oh, I really wish I just had a go at them, and like, you know, just laid into them. And I know it wouldn't end well, but you just think that. And then there's other times where it's just like such a minor thing. Like I annoyed my friend today. I still think I'm in the right about this, but he gets like, do you know, like when your friend just touches you constantly, he just does it, like not even in a weird way, but will just sometimes just be like poking you and stuff. It just really pissed me off, and I had a go at him this morning because he was doing it all yesterday. He's been doing it all week, you know. and he is just a very touchy person in general. But I just keep asking him to stop, and he didn't. And I had to go at him, and then he refused to talk to me the whole day. And like, although I feel bad for it, I do think he was quite petty in that. But I also just think, you know, like, I do, like, you know, I think I was in the right, even though I feel bad. But I do just think, you know, I'm not any more, you know, like angry or anything, or as horrible, or any more angry, I guess, or toxic. But like, I do think, like, you know, he could have stopped. And I, like, you know, I guess it just depends on the moment as well.
I think it's just characterized by inaction. Basically, I think the now is just you didn't do something and you want to do it.
Yeah. But I do think it's like it's very hard to think on your feet. I think this might just me being like an imbecile in general, but you know, I've never necessarily found it found it easy to think on my feet unless it's something like I'm quite, you know, systematic and I have quite a technical mind. So unless it's like fixing something, you know, like I'm quite good at, like, you know, building and, like, you know, technology and stuff, I'd say. I'm quite good at problem solving in that sense. Like, so unless it's thinking on my feet in that, you know, I'm terrible at, like, interpersonal and, like, talking to people in them situations. Like, I can't think on my feet in them. And, like, I guess that's just more like social interactions I can't think on my feet. So I think, like,
yeah, I think a lot
humans
of
are
stuff like
very,
that.
like,
Yeah.
humans are very bad at thinking on their feet during social interactions because you've got so much going on. Like, you've got to process what they've just said, and then you've got to come back. We don't have a lot of time to really think about what
in
you're going to say.
an interactive thing where both parties are interacting, you know, it's a much more demanding thing. Whereas a puzzle, that puzzle isn't talking back to you, is it? You know, whatever.
I mean, not even a puzzle. Like, you know,
Just
like technical things. Like, you know, if your computer's playing up and you've got to, like, you know.
It's puzzling you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I guess so. Yeah.
In the case of something where you've got to weigh something up as well, I think it makes it a lot harder because you can't tell them, hey, I'm just going to weigh this up for a second.
Yeah, exactly. It's a constant thing. You can't just go, wait, let me go. So some girls, you know, potentially dropping game on you, and you think, oh, let me just weigh that up, see the deeper meaning of that sentence that you've just, that you've just bestowed upon me.
You know,
you can't do that in a conversation.
Yeah.
You can weigh things up in a calculation.
Yeah, but I do think things like, you know, what we're doing here, like debating and stuff, and like that does really help, like that sort of part of your mind, like, because it does allow you to weigh things up quickly and like make formal.
Because it's exercising and everything.
Yeah. Like, you know, like I wouldn't say I'm the best.
But our average conversation isn't a debate, is it? So that's the thing. We're not mentally exercising when we're talking to, you know, about Skibbity Toilet or something. I don't know.
I do think though most arguments I have
retarded.
I don't really get in many arguments unless it is like a debating argument, like that much, because I've got like some sneaky ass friends. But you know, most arguments I have, they are based around a debate of a topic we've had, and then it just sort of spirals. So, and I wouldn't say I'm the best nor the worst, and I do, like, you know, that's sneaky. I do a debate club now because it's like chill. You know,
God, how's this Catholic school got better facilities for societies than mine?
Than his university.
We've got music society and IT society.
This kid's got societies in a Catholic school. What's going on?
It's God, what's something to do.
But like, you know, and I do think they're like, you know, just it does help me, like, you know.
What kind of debates happen at the debating? Like, I imagine boring.
We sort of just come up with a topic. Like, it's not the most fun, I'm not gonna lie, but I do get to socialise with friends that I wouldn't normally talk with, like, because they're in the year above. But like the debate we're doing next week, I'll get it up. It's about should prisons be more about rehabilitation or punishment? Should prisons have better release for good behaviour? I
used to be a punishment guy, but now I'm a rehabilitation guy.
I think It's a mix of the both for me on that one.
Well, obviously, yeah. Well, you obviously got to kill, crazy murderers who will never change. But I'm not. I feel unprepared to get into that debate.
Yeah.
Just because this is our little ethical discussion right now.
I've
isn't
got
it?
resources all in front of me for that, and
What
I'm
was-
not
what
even
was
going
last
to get into it. Last week it was about green power, and I managed to bring up Chernobyl, which I was quite happy about.
How do you bring up Chernobyl in Green Power? Did you talk about nuclear?
No, it was should we stop investing in fossil fuels? And we should stop investing in fossil fuels. That was the topic, and I was on there disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say I disagree with that. I think you have to weigh it up between the environment.
I did say that. Obviously, it wasn't my true opinion.
Really?
Right, but they just stick you in a
Oh,
random.
well, that's stupid.
Because
They don't. They just put you in a.
They don't let you come to your own opinion about something.
No, because what they make you do is they make you research both sides, so then your mind's more broadened, and then you know how to debate on the spot, and you've got all the information.
You're obviously going to debate the side you agree with, or you're going to research the side you agree with more, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's more.
Yeah,
just the fact
confirmation
that
bias and that.
It's more just the fact that it gets just so you can just it's more about the skill, not more about your opinion. So they more just want you to be able to research anything and talk about anything, even if you don't necessarily believe it. But obviously, I think we should go towards more green power, but you gotta.
Yeah,
But they were just like, oh.
I think you should always just go with what you believe. But obviously, you need to hear out the other side and everything. That's
Yeah.
you can't be tone deaf
But-
and deaf, literally.
Yeah, they just put you in random positions.
Nah,
like,
that's
just
stupid, man.
in case.
That is
I know it's stupid, but I think it's more just the fact is they want you to be able to debate. They don't really care about your opinion. But as long as you can.
Even
hold
though
an
opinions is like the debate thing.
I know, but they more just want you to be able, at
So-
this point, because it's relatively new, the club, they just want you to be able to talk and hold it and carry on an argument and a debate.
Well, I hope they
like,
change
they
that later.
They want you to be able to research. I'm guessing they're going to make teams. Like me and my friends have already sort of made their own facts.
Make a little party.
We actually have.
It's not the
We've got
opinion club, it's the debate club.
We joke around. we joke about a 3-step program to take over the school.
Interesting.
We take over the debate club first, then we move up to the heads of years and the SLT, and take
Good,
over
good.
that for our debating, and then we hold a putsch, and take over our head teacher thing,
Okay.
But obviously that won't happen. It's just a joke. But Mr. Wilson would not stand for that.
He's was my geography teacher.
Well, he's now my head teacher. I'm sure of it.
Stu, nice guy.
But yeah.
So, Green Power, eh?
Green power.
power.
All right, I've
I
got a
do
question,
like it.
and it
Yeah.
it can relate to the trolley problem. In fact,
Boo.
but it's
Is it the trolley problem reworded?
no, but it's a thought behind the trolley problem, and I'll synthesize it. So the thought is it's Kantian, and I disagree completely, but it's that. So obviously the trolley problem is it's gonna hit 5 people, right?
People.
But if you flip the lever, right,
It hits one.
it hits one, right? And the Kantian response is you cannot hit the lever because killing anyone in any way is remotely wrong, right? So what his idea is that the object should not influence the will, the action that we carry out. So I'll try and use it with something else. So basically, it's an ultimate form of idealism. Basically, it's like saying, so it completely erases the idea of a white lie. So if you lie to save someone's life, right, or to save multiple people's lives, it doesn't really matter. If you lie, that's an immoral act, because you should not lie for any action, even if it's to because the object is the person you're going to save, basically. And if you lie, you're transgressing lying. Therefore, that's bad, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I explaining that well?
So like the object should not dictate.
Yeah. The object being the person who you could potentially save by lying should not influence the fact that lying is bad, right? Lying is bad in all circumstances. How far do you agree with that? Because I disagree. Obviously, there's truth in it, but there, you know.
But I feel like if you're talking about a person's life.
Yeah, exactly. Life is quite an extreme example.
Obviously.
That means that there's a point where lying becomes right.
When lying becomes there's a flip point. Kant would disagree. I couldn't tell you why he disagrees, even though he in the book I read with him, I haven't really got to that bit if he ever mentioned it, but he probably mentions it. But there's got to be a point, right? I mean, well, you know, because if you're lying to save 1 million people, that's the best thing you could do ever, you know. That's
where's this point is I think physical harm is quite a good way to draw. Draw a line in the sand.
I think, like, obviously, like, life is an extreme example, and I do think killing's wrong on like any level. But at the end of the day, if you're weighing up 5 lives against 1, you know, maybe you should lie and, you know, or flick the lever.
Well, that would be involving a murder, right?
Yeah, but you know, like, but then you're still like, you know, you're still sitting there when you could save 5 people, and obviously it's not good to kill the 1 person. But I think it's morally better to save 5 people than 1.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say in any circumstance, because, like, at the end of the day,
because it could be 5 rapists, or you know.
No, not that. But I think, like, have you like heard the trolley problem where it's like instead there's 5 people that need organ transplants and there's 1 healthy?
Yeah.
I think that changes it entirely.
Yeah. You can mix and match and things.
I think that, like, I
feel
like, you know, the trolley problem.
Yeah, but the Kant thing, it's just completely without that little addition. It's just like they could all be healthy. It's just that if you flip the thing, you're a murderer already, and it's just completely bad. I think that's too absolute, and you know, I thought I think it makes more sense to just be less dogmatic and just be a realist and say, yeah, you know, 5 lives. Let's say if all parties are healthy, they are better than 1, and we should maximise, you know, the amount of people surviving and everything. It's like
we should obviously try and, like, you know, help as many people as possible.
Yeah, but the physical harm I'd say is the line, and I think if Kant was in that situation, I think he would press the lever. No one's, you know, we all think we're completely, you know, principled, but you know, we're not all that principled when it gets down to, you know, a situation like that. You know, the most realistic proposition, the trolley problem that happens every day, right? You know.
Yeah. I just think, you know, people's ideologies and stuff don't actually match up to what they do. Like, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Like we're talking about with conscience. Like, even that, you know, that still, it's like, that dictates your final actions. So you can think something, but you might not do it. Like, you know, because, like, people with, like, you know, suicidal thoughts, you know, that's their conscience, but they won't actually do it, you know, because their belief is that they should still live deep down, even if they think they should die, you know. And I know that's, like, you know, sort of a tangent and not really, like, the point we're making, but I do think your conscience and your beliefs are separate, like, and that your conscience can override your beliefs and your beliefs can override your conscience. I just think it really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think, you know, telling a lie to save people, like, even if it's going to kill 1 person, is necessarily unethical or immoral. obviously it's not good, but it's for the greater good, you know.
Yeah.
You're still probably gonna live with the shame that you killed one person. But you're also gonna live with like the happiness and the pride that
Yeah.
you saved 5 people.
It's all. I don't want to say a point system. I really hate when like point systems are brought up with morality, you know. But it's like it's weighing out the bad and the good there. It's like,
Yeah.
look, you have the guilt of, you know, that person dying, and you know that they had something, but you also live with the, like you said, you live with the joy of saving 5 people with all that, you know, independence, and you know they have a life too.
I think personally, if that was me, I think the guilt would over outweigh the saving 5 people. Don't know why, I just think I'd feel really guilty compared to being really happy about them.
I know, yeah, no, I do know what you mean though, Ollie. Like, I've already brought this up a few times, but like when I watched like the Trolley Problem with Vsauce, where he actually tried it out for real and got like contestants in like a simulation like that without them knowing, a lot of them didn't pull the lever because they felt so guilty about weighing it up, and they just like they were in so much shock and they like couldn't decide what to do because they felt so
Yeah.
ashamed of like having to pick.
And then
And, like,
so then
yeah.
they just don't have it in them
They
to
just blank
slip
yeah.
to slip
And
it.
only a couple people did, and one of the people that did had like started crying and stuff because he felt so bad about. Although they didn't die, he felt so bad that he would have had to end a human life, and like that weighing up had to like, you know, like really affected him, even though it was fake. You know, he's still shocked because of what could have happened if it was real. If it was that, like, you know, in the moment. And I do think, you know, weighing things up.
Yeah,
does affect you.
like, because obviously you're on a timer as well, so it's
Yeah.
it's
Like, you know, you've got to make that
you're in
quick
shock.
decision. I would say I'd flick the lever, but realistically,
Like when you're
when
in
you're
that,
there-
like it's the world's, you know, running at 1,000,000 seconds a second.
yeah, like, you know, reality to like, you know, imagination is like different, you know. Reality to
Yeah, to how we
Simulate,
think
you should
what we
say.
do in our mind, you know, it's completely different. It's like when we
Like,
reflect on things and everything.
like I could say, oh, I'd do really well in war. I wouldn't be scared or anything. I would be, you know.
Because
Or
we're not there to see if
like-
we'd be scared or not. So
yeah,
Coming back round to the whole inaction at the time of doing
yeah,
I think the mind is really complex, and I do love psychology and like ethics and all of that. I do love it. Like, you know, I do think just talking about it really just broadens it as well.
yeah, hearing all the opinions and everything.
Yeah, I do definitely think it's something I want to go into, like not as a job, but just
But
get
just
into
knowing
as I get
know about
older.
it, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, spend my time reading books and stuff about it in the future. May even take a little course on it if I want.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Is
interesting.
there any more dilemmas? Not a dilemma, but is there any more propositions? You know, like we did the toll-free thing, then it turned
Yeah.
into homeless, and then turned into trolley problem, and
I can't
Sentences.
think.
Discuss political events.
What political events do you want to discuss?
Oh, don't really know. The North Korean troops in Ukraine.
Wow, there's North Korean troops in Ukraine.
What's your
what are
thoughts
they?
on
Are they just bounty hunt? Not bounty hunters. Not bounty hunters.
No,
like
there's some, yeah.
what do you call them? Flipping. What do
I
you
know
call
you're
them?
on about, yeah.
Mercenaries. Are they not mercenaries?
They're not mercenaries, but they are just fighting for the Russians, aren't they?
Yeah. I
Well,
think.
You
I
know,
don't think they'll be all out.
Alright,
but
I'll
it's-
go on a little tangent. You know what I don't like about, well, I wouldn't like them anyway, for one, but this is what I find really confusing about the whole Russia alliance thing. Russia, they're all friends with each other. Russia, they're friends with Iran, and they're friends with China, and they're friends with North Korea. Like, Iran knows North Korea hates religion and everything, and
Yeah.
knows China hate religion and everything. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is true.
and it's like, come on, like how does the pragmatism make any sense there? It's just
the anti-West alliance.
it's just anti-West interests. But it's like it's just people in authority have no principles to stand on once they're there. So it's like
the Islamic Republic of Iran really like atheist China.
and atheist North Korea. It's so fake and it's weird. It's wrong. It's
I mean, I guess Russia and stuff do like make alliances, don't they? And just like
yeah,
not really
I mean, it's strategic and it's like
it's strategic.
from
But
like
even
some
then,
thoughts, it's admirable. You know, if you're a pragmatist, but I'm not a pragmatist, so I'm gonna.
I
Even
think
shit on
during
it a
like
bit.
World War II and stuff, though, when they made the Treaty with Germany, they still, you know, well, I guess Germany broke that alliance, really, didn't they?
I think that Russia's the most excusable out of all of them, to be honest.
Yeah. Because Russia.
They see themselves as the defender of orthodoxy, but apart from that,
Yeah. Because Putin's like he's. This is gonna sound crude, especially talking about religious people, but he's in bed with the church, not literally, but you know, like he rubs shoulders with the Orthodox Church of Russia, but still, it's like, but people on the left see him as this secular, you know, heir to the USSR, even though he's not, and then people on the far right think he's the heir to Hitler. It's
strange.
it's just it's weird. Anti-West politics is incredibly weird. I hate it, and it's just you're on the radical of both ends, and it sucks.
I just think politics is fucked up, really, just in general. Like, every country, you know, I haven't really seen many countries where politics is good. I haven't really looked into many countries, but, you know, America, it all goes downhill. England, especially, you know, first-hand experience. They're all corrupt. Even, like, you know, even Keir Starmer, like, you know, everyone just wanted the Tories out, so they voted him in. But I wouldn't even call him a good leader, you know.
Well, yeah, not many would.
He says he's not giving up the Falklands, but, you know, I know that's not really, you know, doesn't really show corruptness, and it is a good thing. But, you know, like, just the stuff he goes back on, and the stuff like he's done, nothing was in his manifesto that he's done, really. And yet he hasn't really got much done in his manifesto. Like, obviously I'm not going to be like, oh, why hasn't he built the houses yet? Because you can't build a house in 4 months. You can't build like 500,000 houses in 4 months. But, you know, just like simple things that he like could have got done or started working on. You know, I haven't really seen much of it. And, you know, he's definitely in some sort of like scandals, I reckon. There isn't many politicians, I don't think, that haven't been part of scandals or some sort of, you know, like situation.
Yeah. It's just a
And
And it's
politician
all
thing.
around the world. Like, every country you go to, politicians are corrupt. They get money, they get bribes, you know, they think they're like above the rules they put in place. Like Boris Johnson, like, I don't like, you know, he said on a podcast the other day, I got the podcast favorited on TikTok because I've been meaning to watch it, like to like click on the link and stuff. But he said he didn't think the Partygate was actually a party. He thought it was a work gathering. That's the words he described.
Keir Starmer.
And then, no, not Keir Starmer, Boris Johnson.
Oh, Boris.
He said the party wasn't a party, it was a work gathering after work. Even though they had music, alcohol and food and stuff.
Wow.
And just things like that, you know, they still try and convince you they're okay when like the gig's up. And I do just think, you know, certain things, like some politicians, you can't really find much wrong with them. Like Theresa May, you know, she wasn't really part of many scandals. I think she was quite a good leader, really. Like, you know, although she couldn't get Brexit done. But no one could really get Brexit done until Boris Johnson came about. And even then, it was still like, yeah. I just think every politician is a bit shit. And that isn't like me advocating communism. Just want to make that clear.
I didn't think you were.
No, I know, but you know, just some radicalists would be like, oh well, he just says he wants like, you know, communism or anarchism, no government. I do think there should be a government. I just think it should.
Really pissed me off.
I think it
Anarchists,
should be
those
more
guys
regulated.
suck.
Oh, they do.
It pissed
Ooh,
me
we'll
off
give
so much.
donation. We'll get donations from the public.
Yeah.
Won't be taxes.
They have
though,
no
'cause
faith in the
it's, you know,
government, but all faith in the citizens. It's,
If anything, I feel like the citizens would do a worse job.
yeah. Because obviously the
Imagine
government
trying
are corrupt, but they know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah. Imagine trying to build houses without like planning regulations or anything. Oh, I know I'm in your garden, Jerry, but I'm just
Yeah.
building my house.
it's a whole
no
democracy
government to
problem. It's
stop me.
like, you know, the average person doesn't know anything about, you know, how to run a government. Like, I don't know how to run a government.
I
So
don't think.
why should we let
so.
people who don't know how to run a government, you know,
Be free?
be able to choose who's in? It's the whole
Yeah.
the analogy Socrates used was: do we let people who don't know anything about sailing sail ships? So why do we, let people who don't know how to run a government, be able to have influence and who runs it? And it's like, it's a good argument, but
This is
you know,
It's a good argument.
it's
If it
but
extends
it,
to
it's what it
dictatorship.
becomes in. It's what it becomes is the argument against Socrates' argument is we kind of have to have this democracy, is because if we don't have it, it's going to turn into a garbage country.
This is true.
I do think the public should have voices more than the government. I feel like the government should listen more to the people, but the people, they're not always in the country's best interest at the end of the day. I don't think. So I do think there should be like hard leadership.
There's a
And
quote during Brexit, and it really stuck with me. It was just I don't know anything about the European Union or trade laws. Why are they asking me? And I think that's just
Yeah.
the main.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also like, I do think, democracy is a very difficult thing and leadership's a very difficult thing, because like the public, like literally no one, like hardly anyone really agrees with each other, and in countries, like they all have slightly different political beliefs. It's hard to find someone who matches up with your exact alignment, especially with political parties. Like, they say they're left wing, right wing, central, but at the end of the day, they still won't 100% line up.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult thing to like vote for someone, because
Yeah.
one
I'll bring my
party
opinion
might have
after.
one
on.
party might have qualities you love,
Yeah.
and then another party might have qualities you love. But like the central party in between that might have no opinions that you like.
yeah,
And
and
you sort of have to weigh it
yeah,
up, and
yeah.
then you've got to go, but I don't actually like these other policies that they're putting in. And
Yeah.
then you think they're a bad leader because of some of the policies, but you like some of the other ones. It's very difficult. Like, I don't really have an opinion on Labour. They haven't really done much recently for me to have a big opinion. Like, giving away the island, I get that we weren't, really doing much with it. But I do think it was like part of the British Empire, It is much bad as that, like, dull as that sounds, but, and as like sneaky as that sounds, but it was a bit of our land, and giving it up really that easily, is a bit of like a chest, like a punch in the guts,
Yeah.
I don't think, it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
I just think,
it's just
and I'm not like
about history.
I'm not a
that, innit?
national. Yeah, I'm not a nationalist. I'm not like,
Yeah.
oh, we need to have an empire. I just think, as part of history, we've had it for over 100 years. Why would we give it up like that? I get that it wasn't bringing much, and it was just expensive. It was a military, like, it was good positioning for military. That did help us as well.
It's part of the deal that they've given them the islands, right? So islands that we used to own, we're now paying to own them for 99 years. It's like we're just giving them money
Innit?
for no reason.
For no reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just what kind of annoyed me. But what was you gonna say? You said you were gonna say
No, what I was gonna say is, when it comes to political parties, especially here, I mean, it's the country I live in. It's like I can't really. say like I identify with any of them, because obviously
Yeah.
some people like kind of LP was elucidating. It's like, you know, they'll just go with, you know, the opinions that they agree with strongly, but like obviously I agree with some opinions strongly, but like I just can't like level that out of anything. Like it's like Labour, like I can't, like I like policies of reform, Labour and Conservative, but like it's just that I have to vote for their other policies. I hate it. And like,
Yeah, like-
the only world I could, and I don't even see this world, is that I was a politician, but I don't want to be a politician. It's like, it's the only ideal world for me as a voter, I guess.
Yeah.
A rating system. That's what that'd be good.
Yeah.
A 1 to
I just-
1 to 10 rating system.
I just think, you know, like, just like policies as well. Like, I know there's no work way around it, but I do like I was saying, and I do agree with you. Like, it's very hard to think of a political party that I align with.
You know,
Like,
yeah.
100%. Like,
I can't.
you know, I like Lib Dem policies. I like Labour. I like a bit of like Conservative. I like all, like, they all have good policies, and they all have bad ones. But it's very difficult for me to go, I align with this party, because I know half the policies they have I might not believe in, or like the leader, for instance. I might like the policies, I just don't like the leader they've got. You know, like Labour, like, you know, I liked some of their policies. You know, when they were coming up in the news. Like, I must admit, I didn't read their manifesto or anything. I didn't read any, but I listened to like the policies from the news and stuff. And I just don't like Keir Starmer that much. Like, you know,
Yeah, he's
I
what an awful figurehead that guy is for a party.
yeah, like, I don't think the policies are all that bad. I just think he can't get much done. It's like such. I think he's a weak
And he
leader.
doesn't know what he stands for, and
Yeah,
He's very weak. Yeah.
he's a weak leader. He's the personification. At
Like-
least Sunak. At least
yeah.
there is some
like-
strength and principle to Sunak. You know.
Like, that's what I was about to say. Like, I like. Although I didn't really like what the Conservatives were doing at the country at that point, I liked Sunak because, you know, he knew what he believed in.
Yeah, like
would-
I disagree
have
with the whole
motivation.
maths like thing, right?
Yeah,
He
Uh,
liked it.
But like he
Yeah.
stood by it, and
he was
it's-
motivational as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he would when he'd get on the stand, you know, like when he'd be having, like, you know, PMQs and stuff, he would be motivational.
Yeah.
You know, he would get his point across, and he would
Yeah.
like shout and
He
stuff. and he'd
definitely
get
knew what he
passionate.
believed,
That's
Like,
a good admiral.
and I think Reform know what they believe as well. Labour doesn't
Yeah,
know what they believe. There's a
whereas-
wing in Labour which is like basically
Very-
Corbyn people, pretty much, who
Mm.
haven't been cleared out yet. And then there's a wing of Labour with pseudo Tories, pretty much, and it's like, and then there's Keir Starmer, and
in the middle, trying to keep it all together.
in the middle, leaning towards the Tory
He's
side.
got
I'll
the
admit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pretty.
He keeps kicking.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely just joined Labour because he was like, "Oh, this is an easy party
Yeah,
to get."
exactly.
strength
Because
in."
Labour, I mean, it was always going to get in this election, so it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
But, you know, like, I just think
Thank
you
God
know,
he's
you need a good leader, a good, like, you know. I know it's hard to say a good leader because you can't really know if someone's a good leader until they become leader.
Yeah.
But I feel like there should be a
But
track.
I think there was a
record before you
sign
know.
that this guy was going to be a terrible leader. Like,
Oh yeah, you could all tell.
Yeah.
He was gonna... People were only voting him. But I don't reckon he would have got in. Like, if we saw how he performed now, I reckon
Yeah.
Reform or someone like that would get in.
I don't think. I mean, this was always Reform's little builder election. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't think Conservatives or Labour would get in. I think it'd be another
Do
party.
you think?
In the word, I disagree. In my opinion,
I
nothing
Or
else.
maybe it's Conservatives. But, you know, I don't think it'd be Labour who'd get in again. If, like, we had an election now. I think it might be Conservative, but I think, like, Lib Dem and Reform are, like, on the rise. You know,
Definitely.
they're like, because people, like, are starting to believe with them more. Like,
I don't
if
know.
I had to pick a party, I'd have to go Liberal Democrats, just because, you know, they just have, like, the most central beliefs, and I'm not left or right. I'm quite centred. You know, do what you want with your body, all of that stuff. Like, you know.
I think most people, it's becoming more divided. I think it's just because of the whole struggle in living whatever inflation.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
that it's become more divided, even between for a centrist.
yeah.
The ideology is going more hardened than it was before COVID.
I also think social media plays a big part now because, like, back in, like, if you go back 100 years, people were very divided on their political beliefs, really. Like, although they were all quite, like, right-winged viewed, like, you were either
Was
sort
it?
of in that time scale. Well, like, of course, there were socialists and things like that, but, it was quite more right-leaning, I'd say. In, like, in today's standards, left-wing would probably be more central. I just think, they've gone more left and more like, but like what I mean is like, back then you were either one party or the other. You were very strong in what party you believed in. Where now,
Yeah.
social media stuff, it shows you videos like For You page and stuff. Like I'd go for Facebook, I'd get conservative videos, and then I'd get Labour, and then
Yeah,
Lib
there's a
Dem.
lot more unquestioned things
I'd get a mix
that
of
back
the three.
ago.
Yeah, and like I'd get a mix of the three parties, all pop up on my For You page, and that made it very difficult to be like, I believe with this party, because they'd all have videos and like points which I'd agree with, and then like also like if you are just got like conservative videos on your For You page, you're gonna end up like believing in like the conservative views because you've just been influenced and like I'm not going to say brainwashed because I think that's the wrong word, but you've had that shown to you and exposed to you over and over, so you're going to believe it. It's like if you showed like a baby 2 + 2 = 5 for like the first 4 years of their life, they're not going to think any different.
Yeah.
Because they've been
Conditioning.
shown that.
No.
Yeah, they've been conditioned, that's the word. To like,
Just how we're conditioned to look at you when your name is said or something like that. Going back to hours ago.
Oh, we're going back.
But anyway,
Oh,
just keep
yeah.
going. Sorry, I just wanted to make a cross reference.
I do think, like, social media does condition you, or it can do the opposite. Like, for me, it did the opposite, it made me more confused, where some
Yeah.
people, like, I know my friend...
It shows you a bit of
he's had
everything and you don't know what to think.
Yeah, I know my friend, he's had very, lucky upbringing, and, and he's, like, had good wealth and stuff, so he's quite... I've got multiple friends like this, and they're quite, like, right-winged, and they've, like, in their For You pages, they get a lot more right-wing content than I do, so they've been, like, conditioned and brought up to think right-wing is the way to go. So, like, I do think it just depends on how social media represents political parties to you now more than anything, because that's the
It's a
way
new
to
era,
think.
or
It is
TikTok
a new
era.
era.
Jesus.
You get a good 60-minute video and you're in.
Yeah, I do just think it really just depends on like now electronical, the electronics age, internet age. I think that really dictates it. I think we are going into a more divided but also uncertain society within countries like England and stuff. I think that I'm going to wrap up my point there.
Yeah.
What did everyone think of the game?
Oh, the game. Oh, you just lost the game.
Oh,
for fuck's Oh, do you know what? End the podcast. We're ending it there. We're ending it on a sad, sad little note.
he was in a great granddad mood there.
He's really taking this game thing to heart.
I know, right? I just think I lost the game,
Well,
Oh, gee whiz.
I hope you
Gee,
fucking
okay.
lose the game of life tonight. I hope you suffocate in your pillow.
I love the game of life.
I saw a
I
guy
like Rick.
suffocating a pillow.
Ah.
Not
hope your
actually. It was
parents
it was a movie.
Oh, okay. Like my life, then. So.
It was just fitting, right? It's very fitting.
Yeah.
You lost the game of dieting. Shut up.
I didn't even say
Yeah, exactly. I made you lose the game, bub.
it. I'm getting flack for nothing here.
You know what?
End of
LP, you do the outro. Give me a good outro.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed this monthly podcast, because that's what it really is now, isn't it? Every few months.
I thought
Hope
you
you
did one
enjoyed.
last week.
Yeah, I thought we did it last
Shut up,
week.
I slipped up before we recorded. I hope you enjoy this. More podcasts will probably be coming out in time. You know, fun little thing. This has been the worst podcast ever with our host, Keith fucking London. Give us a little wave goodbye.
Hey, that's me. Mm.
We've got
Okay, because this guy did an awful job at doing the outro, I'm just going to do the outro here and a little clip after. We had me, Chief fucking Bromden, we had LP, and we had Peds. Everyone, give it up, ladies, and we'll see you in the next installment. And, you know, that's about it, man. Bada bing, bada boom. Good night.